a.m. The push to identify another victim of suspected serial killer Herb Baumeister. What authorities are working right now to uncover.
Rain on radar to our west, weakens before it gets here, but weekend rain will not. We've got an update on the timing ahead.
Plus, conversations about kids and online safety in the wake of Haley Busby's disappearance and death. We're going to talk about the steps you can take to keep your kids safe. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us for this early edition of 13 News at Noon. I'm Dustin Grove. We're starting at 11 o'clock to make room for the Winter Olympics this afternoon. And we begin in the courtroom where a woman appeared before a judge this morning after police say her toddler died of an accidental drug overdose. Mia Hawkins is being held right now on a $150,000 surety bond. According to court documents, her 3-year-old daughter was found unconscious last July. The daughter was taken to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. In court records, police say they found narcotic paraphernalia at the home where the child was living with her mother and sister. The mother, Mia, tested positive for drugs. A 17-year-old in Mississippi is now in custody facing felony charges for an alleged school shooting plot here in Indiana. Investigators say the teen was targeting Morristown Junior-Senior High School. The threat was allegedly planned for May 25th. Authorities say the girl is being charged with attempted murder and conspiracy to commit murder against another juvenile. She's in custody in Mississippi, but we're told she is refusing to waive extradition to Indiana. So we'll continue to follow that case, see where it goes. This is the second teen to be arrested in this investigation. 17-year-old Alexis Pickett was charged as an adult back in December. Her trial is scheduled for April. The entire community is invited to remember Haley Busby today at a celebration of life in Fishers. Let's give you the information on the screen here. The service is going to start at 6 o'clock tonight. It'll be at I-Town Church near 136th and Brook School Road. Doors will open at 5, and anybody who is going is encouraged to wear pink, which is Haley's favorite color. Meanwhile, we're learning new developments in the investigation into Haley's death. The FBI searching a home where 39-year-old Tyler Thomas stayed while Haley was missing. This is the first time federal agents have searched that property since her remains were found. Police in Columbus, Ohio searched the home last month. Thomas is facing federal charges in her death that includes sexual exploitation of a minor and travel in interstate commerce with intent to engage in illicit sexual conduct. The conversation surrounding Haley's case has a lot of parents concerned about the dangers their children face in this digital age. Police say Haley connected with Tyler Thomas on multiple video game and communication apps. Our Logan Gay visited Hamilton Southeastern for what was called a crucial conversation about internet safety.
Haley's story was definitely on everyone's mind at this meeting, and they're using that as fuel to learn tools to make sure it doesn't happen to anyone else. Inside the same school where 17-year-old Haley Busby once went to class, parents gathered for a lesson of their own, learning how to protect their kids from online predators.
It's just been super heavy, and I feel like as parents, it just feels like this has just been such a violation of the community, like of our safety, of what we feel is real.
The event was planned before Haley's death, but her story is what brought many parents here Wednesday night.
The conversations with parents, kids, everyone for weeks have just been heavy, and everyone's just trying to figure out how to make sense of it.
Former Assistant U.S. Attorney Tiffany Preston led the conversation. She spent nearly 18 years investigating internet crimes against children. Because of the graphic nature of some conversations, children and news cameras were not allowed inside. But Preston says the goal is simple: use what we know from Haley's case to empower families.
It really comes down to 3 important things: communicating with our kids, talking with them, telling them about the dangers that are out there in an age-appropriate way, restricting access to some apps until they're ready, and most importantly, providing support.
Preston says any child with internet access can be at risk.
Most often, kids who are targeted by these specific type of predators are kids who are doing well in school. They have a smartphone, they have extracurriculars, they are close with their families.
She says that's why parents can't assume their child isn't vulnerable.
We live in a modern world, and you need to be prepared and at the same time teach them with love.
Well, I'm going to go home and check all of our phones and check all of my kids' settings and just have a conversation about all of that I learned.
In Fishers, Logan Gay, 13 News.
We keep hearing over and over and over again how important it is to have that
conversation
with our kids.
Yes.
All right, meteorologist Sean Ash joining us now on another bright, sunshiny day.
Yeah. And, we're back in the 40s today. The warmest is still yet to come, partner.
Right.
Before we get to some temperatures near above 60 degrees, we will have to go through some rain this weekend.
Okay.
But let's take care of business for today. We're sitting at 38 degrees. Now, there is rain to our west. That is not a surprise. However, it encounters a little bit more drier air as it works in. I'm not going to say we may not have a few sprinkles later this evening, but this high pressure system for the most part eats away at a lot of it. But a little bit of a different story the farther west you go as we get into a little bit more of a local view here. So it's a combination of some areas that have a pretty good dose of sun, some get some filtered sunshine. We'll call it partly sunny. It's certainly not going to be too cold, not compared to where we have been. Not much of a wind is a factor as well. And we're going for highs today that will be in the lower 40s here across central Indiana. 28 this hour in Richmond, still the cool spot, 41 in Bloomington. And we've got you right now at 38 degrees here in the metro area. And I mentioned we've got some of that mid-level cloud cover that at times is going to filter the sunshine a little bit. So not as sunny as yesterday, but still a pretty decent day. We're warming tomorrow. And despite the fact we have rain this weekend, we've got 50s in the forecast for Saturday, Sunday. I have more on that rain timing and how much to expect ahead in the forecast here in just a little bit.
All right. Thank you, Sean.
Yeah.
The Hamilton County coroner now asking for the public's help to identify human remains connected to suspected Indiana serial killer Herb Baumeister. Investigators say they believe Baumeister killed dozens of men on this Westfield property, his Westfield property, back in the 90s. They have identified the father of one of the victims, but they're working right now to ID the mother as well so that they can put a name to some more of these remains. You can see the victim's late father here, Jerome Jerry Harvey. He lived in Indianapolis most of his life, was married 4 times. Anyone with information on the victim or the victim's parents is urged to contact the Hamilton County Coroner's Office. This morning, we're also learning that U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement is setting up an office in Carmel. City County Council President Matthew Snyder confirming that news, the council president there, but couldn't say when it's happening or why. Snyder released a statement that says, in part, I support the rule of law and recognize that ICE is a federal agency charged with enforcing immigration laws and protecting our nation's borders and ports of entry. At the same time, the proximity of existing federal resources naturally raises reasonable questions about necessity, coordination, and communication. Again, that statement coming from the president of the county council in Hamilton County. We talked with the Carmel police chief. He is also confirming ICE is establishing office space in Carmel, but is directing questions to the agency itself. We did reach out to ICE to ask about the reasons behind this move and a timeline. We're still waiting to hear back. We'll let you know as soon as we do. IMPD's new chief is addressing a video showing an intense interaction between an IMPD officer and a juvenile. This happened during a student walkout protest near Warren Central High School. An officer saw a juvenile entering a car with a gun. Chief Terry says officers pulled the car over for a traffic violation, but she says the driver did not initially follow commands and turned away. That's when the video recorded what the officer said. She adds the video did not show the de-escalation efforts before that moment, and says officers did find a loaded stolen handgun on one of the passengers in that car. She says both the officer's words and illegal possession of guns are concerning. Chief Terry says an internal administrative investigation into the officer's conduct is ongoing, and the prosecutor is reviewing the case. We'll keep an eye on that case. Leaders in Speedway are issuing a warning for residents at an apartment complex. The dangers they're outlining around raw sewage still to come.
Well, we got 30s now. We're going to have 40s later this afternoon and 60s that will time out in your 7-day forecast in a few minutes.
Loving that warm up. And investigators in Tumbler Ridge, Canada are identifying the shooter in what they're calling the deadliest school shooting that country has seen in decades. What we're learning next.